Moving on, we have Warhammer Boltgun by Bricky. Keep it simple, Heretic. I don't know what this is. Is this like a first-person shooter thing? Not much of an intro, let's just get into it.
Hello! In the last video, I told you I don't sell you half a shirt, and I'm a man of my word. In fact, I'm such a man of my word, we've created all kinds of new things I won't sell you half of. At Orchidate.com, we got a bunch of new merch. In fact, specifically, my beloved merch. Oh yeah, also it's sweatpants. There's my beloved. I swear, it looks, I gotta jump. We got a whole bunch of new stuff for the My Beloved collection. You got this nice puff material on top of red shirts. You've got white shirts, black shirts, like 4 different designs, sweatpants, all kinds of cool stuff. And not only that, but there's also been probably a lot of new merch that have been added just kind of naturally through the course of the time. So if you haven't gotten a chance to check out the site recently, go down in the description, go to Orchidate.com. There are 2 links. One is for all of the My Beloved collection stuff, and the other is just the site in general. So go check it out, cop yourself some merch. It's very good. I think it is. I wear it all the time. And yeah, let's kill heretics. Hello everybody. My name is
Yeah, just a quick little thing I wanted to mention. I will be going through some like Warhammer games to kind of see what games are actually interesting, because I would like more recommendation. When I finish Mechanicus, I want to like fill that slot with another Warhammer game possibly. That's why I will be going through some reviews of other stuff I haven't like seen or heard about yet. Speaking of, yeah, Warhammer Boltgun, like I was that mentioned by anybody in all the videos about Warhammer I fucking seen? Not sure, but Bricky will get us in there.
Is Bricky currently dead for asking the simple question, when does killing a heretic stop being fun? Is it after the 20th, the 200th, the 2000th, the first Exterminatus, the second? A Boltgun sits you down on their knee and says to you, how dare you ask that question? Warhammer Boltgun is the newest game published by Focus Entertainment and developed by the Arok Digital. It is what many would classify
Okay, this looks very fucking pretty.
as a boomer shooter, and I've grown very fond of the term overall. It's a game light on overall story, heavy on bloody, gory action, ball-busting difficulty, a heavy metal soundtrack, and old-school low-res graphics to boot. Truly, it's a shock that there hasn't been one made already. Warhammer is often known as a dad game. Like the general age demographic of Warhammer tends to be late 20s all the way to late 40s because the barrier to entry is, well, your firstborn, and I'm not talking about the puffy hat boys. I'm talking about thousands of dollars in little plastic men, and the only people who can afford that are their mid-30s IT guys with no wife, no kids, and way too much disposable income. Don't hate me for being right. So why we haven't tapped into the boomer shooter market is beyond me, but with the success of both Doom reboot games, Dusk, Ultra Kill, and MyHouse.wad LMAO, we now have an official Warhammer 1, and oh my, is that what I think it is? You play as Malum Kaido, a Stern Guard veteran of the Ultramarines, and you've been tasked with cleaning up the chaos mess on the Forge world of Graia. The chaos mess left behind by one Lieutenant Titus. Yes, this is a spiritual sequel, so to speak, of the original Space Marine game. You are the one-man army and are being sent down to stop a heretical sorcerer from doing all kinds of chaos debauchery on the Forge world. Speaking of, I will be discussing spoilers. It is not that big of a deal, but, you know, just letting you know. As you land, you'll notice 3 extremely important things. 1, you sound like a refrigerator given sentience.
As it should be.
2, pressing T allows you to taunt your enemies.
Your death is mine. You will die. I am the Emperor's weapon. Die, heretic. The Emperor demands your life.
And 3,
That's fucking badass. Oh my
The
god.
animation has you pulling out the Codex Astartes to read. So we've got movement from people who understand how a Space Marine works. Check. We've got hundreds of lines of dialogue for taunts. Check. And we have Blueberry Ultramarine Boy Scout Codex Astartes crap. Check. I garner the developers understand what they're doing, but did they get the chainsword right? Okay, but how are they going to show off the name of the game, the bolt gun? Surely it can't be as grand. Enacting the Emperor's will is a lovely time in Boltgun. The enemies are relatively similar to those you'd find in a boomer shooter. You have fodder enemies such as cultists, tougher enemies such as pink horrors, plague frogs, and chaos legionaries. Then things can really ramp up with flamers, terminators, the aspiring champion, and so on. Of course, you have health and armor system. Your health is regenerated up to 200 using all the big health pickups, but you can go even higher with the little baby health pickups. Your armor is contempt. Yes, I'm not joking. Armor is called contempt. -1 AP. Killing human enemies drops small amounts of health, and banishing demons drops a small amount of contempt. So blending the killing keeps you topped off. As for ammo, well, that depends on which gun you're using. Besides the signature bolt gun, you have other means to deal death to the traitors. There's a charge move that slams through enemies, your chainsword of course, but also a shotgun, plasma gun, heavy bolter, my beloved, vengeance launcher, volt kite gun, melta gun, and grav cannon. Each weapon generally falls into some type of archetype that previous boomer shooters have pushed them into. The bolt gun, contrary to popular belief, was not made to kill other Space Marines. It was made to kill non-compliant humans and aliens during the Great Crusade. Yeah, of course I'm xenophobic. Have you seen these things? My brother in the Imperium, you murdered all the non-scary ones. So, as expected, the bolt gun is your workhorse weapon and is particularly good at killing non-compliant humans. The shotgun does shotgun things. Pretty good at squishy targets or, close range enemies. The plasma gun does a lot of damage but travels slowly and has a slow travel speed. You can press and hold the gun to rapid fire it, but, it's a plasma gun. The heavy bolter, my beloved, never reloads and will unleash a never-ending stream of murder at whatever you put it at. The vengeance launcher fires Robert Pattinson's Batman at targets that explode on them. The Volkite starts off with enemy over there and ends with enemy over there, and there. The melta gun is the super shotgun, basically. Very low ammo, very short range, absolutely devastating amounts of damage. And the grav cannon is your BFG. Point it at what you want to die and watch it do the dying. And you are going to need it when some of these enemies find their way towards you. This game goes through 3 total acts. Each location has you reset your weapons back to the bolt gun, but then you get them back relatively quickly by the end of it. For the most part, the level design is pretty good. Secrets are used often enough for them to be exciting and fun, and each secret is genuinely a good time because it's a power-up, meaning not only is it fun to collect them all, but it actually rewards you for doing so, allowing you to purge heretics at 120% efficiency, like that cyborg episode in Teen Titans. It didn't make any sense. I didn't care. It was inspiring. One level I'd like to highlight is a Zinchian-style combat arena. Firstly, Zinch-infested areas and near enemies have this horrifying, moving face effect on the walls and floors, which adds a ton to the mind-altering horror that Zinch is so known for. But their best trick is whatever the fuck this is. It's like the graphics can only be seen from one direction. Can we get a One Direction cast member Fortnite dancing on Zinch demons? Skater, let me know what you can do with this. Yes! Yes! But it looks like a glitch was forced into the game. It hurts the eyes a little, and it's very distracting, but that's kind of the point, and it doesn't really last that long, so you don't really need to worry about it too much. You look into the warp for half a second, and you go mad. You look into Zinch's Realm of Chaos and his impossible crystalline labyrinths, and reality itself becomes hostile. There is even this crazy Zinch labyrinth puzzle that has you completely define the laws of physics, and it's a blast to fight through. A real highlight mission, if I do say so, if you can figure out how to do it, that is. Now, some people will ask me, you know, me, Bricky, my beloved, John Warhammer, whatever the fuck, how lore accurate is Boltgun? How does it feel in established canon? Well, from an art style and enemy design standpoint, it's actually completely on point. So many things have been taken straight from the universe, or even tabletop game mechanics have been added. If you haven't noticed, by your weapon in the bottom right-hand corner, it has a strength characteristic, and enemies have a number next to their name. That is their toughness characteristic. On the tabletop, when you roll to attack people, you roll a dice pitting your strength against their toughness. If they're the same, let's say strength 4, toughness 4, you need a 4 or higher on your die, aka 50% chance, 4, 5, 6. If your strength is higher, say strength 5, toughness 4, then you need a 3 or higher. And if it's double, strength 8, toughness 4, then you need a 2 or higher. And the reverse is the same. If it's lower, you need 5 or higher. And if it's half, you only get 6s. Well, this exact same glossary is in the game's help section. Your guns are pitted against the enemy's toughness, and it fully reflects the gameplay. It is identical to the tabletop game. Hell,
cool.
even the Terminators get the T5 toughness bump that they're getting in 10th edition. They've already future-proofed the game. So yeah, a bolter at strength 4 will rip cultists apart, but struggle against bigger targets. Plasma gun at strength 7 will take these out rather quickly, though its low fire rate makes it, and well, you know, chance to blow yourself up makes it kind of bad against chaff. Each gun has a place, each gun has a point, and enemies all have a good strategy to defeat them, except for the heavy bolter, my beloved, because you can just fire that at basically everything and it works. But on the enemy side, pink horrors are ranged casters, and much like their tabletop counterpart, when killed, they split into smaller blue horrors that charge you. Like Chaos Space Marines fire bolters and throw grenades, Terminators teleport around and unleash hails of fire, and the aspiring champion puckers your butthole so hard Slanesh takes interest. So, the proper guns are important. Marines are often taken out well with plasma guns, but more mid-range enemies like plague toads and flamers might be better suited to the unlimited Daka that is the heavy bolter, my beloved. Again, we've been doing that a lot today. So from that perspective, yeah, the game is fair to the lore, the weapon choices, how they operate, and how the enemies behave. And sure, I mean, the Stern Guard veteran is a high-level space marine, above your average marine for the most part, and could easily wipe a base of cultists and maybe kill a few Chaos Marines if they're skilled enough. But my brother in the Imperium, that is a Lord of Change. And it's the first boss fight. And you have, oh, not 2, not 3, no, you fight 6 of them, my guy. And great unclean ones. Strangely enough, the main villain in this game is a Black Legion sorcerer who's weaker than all those boys. In fact, he uses 2 of them in the final boss fight. And you might be thinking, I'm mad about that this is somehow not video game accurate. And you know what? You'd be right. This is completely false. Looking at a Lord of Change might kill a Space Marine, the most horrifying creature in Tzeentch's realm, or the Great Unclean One, the gifted fucking son thing of Nurgle, the big chunk lad. You might think that's impossible, but I say nay, because why? You're playing as an Ultramarine, and there is nothing more powerful in the universe than a named Ultramarine.
I cast fist!
But, I mean, jokes aside, yeah, you'd never kill a Lord of Change. Ever. But it's funny Doom game. So, you know, why wouldn't you put some of the biggest and baddest things in there? The problem I do have, though, is the reusing of them. Now, that's where we start getting into the more negative parts of Boltgun. It starts off really strong, this game, but I think it overstays its welcome by maybe 1 to 2 hours. So I completed the game in about 7 to 8 hours game time without much secret searching at all. Just plain old Ultramar retribution going from level to level. Thing is, by the first Great Unclean One you encounter, roughly 40% of the game, you have seen every enemy they're going to throw at you. And that's not even really like sarcasm or some kind of hyperbole. I believe that is 100% true. There are no more new enemies. All it really does is swap them up, change the arena, and have you fight them again. Boltgun also, unlike its modern Doom counterparts, doesn't have any upgrade systems or character progression. It's very old school, where all you have is ammo, health, and, you know, death, which isn't in its right a bad thing, but each thing individually stacks up to becoming a bit of a problem. Like, no new enemies isn't that big of a deal if the game ended a bit sooner, but it didn't, so some more enemies would be appreciated. Having no progression for your character wouldn't be a problem if the game was shorter, but it's long.
Oh, so that's why in Rogue Trader those devils spawn 2 more after they die. Lore accurate, it seems.
So the progression would have been nice to have. Even if it's just a simple weapon upgrade or character bonus, a little bit would have gone a long way. Because not only does the game stop giving you like new enemies, it stops giving you new weapons too. You get every single weapon in the game in the first act, minus the Grav Cannon BFG equivalent. So there isn't any form of unlocks or character upgrades or new enemies for the latter 60% of the game. It makes it so Boltgun overstays its welcome a little bit, much like an aspiring champion you didn't put enough lead into.
Resurrection!
This is really unfortunate because near the end of the game, your melee and charge move just feel completely useless. Getting into melee range, especially on the hard difficulties, I played it on hard, 1 below Exterminatus mode, and that is, you know, pretty tough in its own right, but manageable. The moment you step into melee range, the moment you run that kind of gamble, you are basically causing insta-death for yourself. You will not be using your chainsword or your charge move at all past Act 1. There are no bonuses for meleeing. It's not like you get ammo like in Doom with the chainsaw. Meleeing is just a different tool, but there's no kind of invulnerability or invincibility or any real reason to use it. So running up and chainsaw—
Man, the fucking sprites look so good, and the environments. I love this art style. Holy
something will just get you shot. And at the hard difficulties, getting shot really hurts. It would have been a really fun way to incorporate a bit more of the 40k world into the game. You know, have your character on like a power sword or a big thunder hammer down the line. Even just a flat out melee upgrade, a flat out buff would be enough, like the beam weapons from Metroid Prime 3. You know, some bonuses to the charge move too, maybe a few permanent boosts to weapons just to keep us feeling like we're earning things. It needed a bit more, a few more unlocks, a few more enemies, and then it would have been solid throughout. Oh, and it needs a fucking map. Listen. I had devs from the game watching the stream the entire time. And listen, friends, you were lovely, but let me make it clear that not having a map is stupid. This is Warhammer. Everything is a cathedral or a factory, and often a combination of both. I got lost a lot, and just pressing M for a map would have made a world of difference. Honestly, a Doom-style game without a map is just a no-no. I can't think of a single justification for there not being a map, minus the weird Zinch Labyrinth level puzzle. And my last and final complaint is the scariest enemy in the entire game is not the aspiring champion. Just kidding, it's the aspiring champion. It's not the Lord of Change, and it's not the Black Legion Sorcerer. It's a goddamn barrel. Notice that I am firing at every single goddamn barrel I see. I probably died to a red barrel more than enemies. Sometimes a stray bullet will fly from an enemy and hit the barrel that I didn't notice because it's a barrel in a goddamn factory, and it will do like 200 damage. And I'm not even on the hardest difficulty. And then I know I can't win the encounter for the most part, and a significant portion of my deaths ended up being barrel related. I sincerely think they should have had the damage dealt to the player like reduced by half with the barrel. It's always random, it's always annoying, and it kills the flow of the game as I need to take things slow to look out for red barrels. I fear no man. But that thing, it kills me. Which is why I think the game started off as overwhelmingly positive and is now at very positive. The first act of the game, flawless, genuinely incredible, and a blast to play. Nothing about it felt wrong, and I was singing my prayers to the God Emperor the whole time. But as time has gone on and the issues piled up, I believe the score going to very positive is reflecting that. Now, Warhammer Boltgun is made by a team who really fucking gets Warhammer. They obviously know the lore, they obviously play the tabletop game, and there is no doubt in my mind they were the right team to not only make this game, but also make more Warhammer games in the future. There is a possibility some of my complaints were going to be in the game, more enemies, more upgrades, etc., but time constraints were a problem. They did tease a corn-based DLC or sequel or something at the end of the game, and I hope they will make some changes to allow not only that future product to be excellent, but allow for the base game to be improved by it as well, adding a map, some new enemies, upgrades, and so on. Is it worth the money? For $20? Hell yeah. It's quality, fun, and fresh. Like I said in my prior video, my $20 is not the same as your
Like, that sounds like a really fucking great time. I love shooters of this nature. Like, Postal Brain Damaged is exactly this. It's like a boomer shooter spin-off with similar style, but focusing on obviously a different presentation a little bit, because it's not Warhammer, you know. And it's like one of my favorite games in the Postal franchise. So this sounds like a really good fucking time.
$20, but this game is fully optimized. It's not asking for $70, and it isn't lying to you. You are a Warhammer nerd, you probably have already bought it. But if you aren't and are at minimum into boomer shooters, I'd still grab it. As far as 40K games go, Warhammer Boltgun is a good addition into the retinue. It is a very good game. I would not put it above that, but it is very good, and most importantly, it's very fun. Doesn't quite get to that level of like Mechanicus or Dawn of War and the like, but it is still quite a solid title. And thank you everyone for watching this video. It was a pleasure. It was a really fun time playing Boltgun. I'm very glad that it ended up being at least good. A few problems, yeah, but you know, this is still chalked up as a green check mark, a win. Good job, we done it. And by we, I mean like the Warhammer community have a good game now. On it, the devs did it. Good job on you guys. You still did a good job. Pick up some merch. My beloved, it's great. I love it. I wear it all the time. I promise, genuinely, I do. If you're on my streams, you'll see me wear sweatpants all the damn time. It's all my merch. I wish I could transmit how comfortable these sweatpants are into your brain so you know. I'll see you next time for a Moonbreaker video. That's gonna be a big one. Toodaloo. Come on.
I know people, I know at least a couple of people on the channel have said that Bricky released his Control video. I will not be watching Bricky's video about Control, because Control is in my to playlist and I don't want to get spoiled on the story. So I'm sorry, I will only watch Control like in a couple of months after I went through it myself. As for Warhammer Boltgun, seems really fucking fun. It's definitely going on my to playlist. Like, holy goddamn. It's definitely like going on that list, and after I'm finished with Mechanicus, I will ask you guys on the channel, probably via one of those community posts again. I will ask which game you guys would like me to play from like Warhammer, and then I will stick some other like games on that list. But yeah, I'm only gonna get serious into you know, gameplay live streams after my friend leaves in a week. I will watch more reviews from Bricky or Mandalore, either one of them. Between the two of them, they probably covered like most Warhammer games, so I can like at least see what they are. Stas in the chat has been saying Rogue Trader is pretty good. I wanna see some review of that to possibly like get dip my toes in there and at least visually have an idea like how it plays, how it looks, are the graphics stylized or not, etc, etc. So if one of them has a review of that, I will definitely watch that too. And yeah, I will play through Mechanicus, I will play through Darksiders, I will stream like a couple of, probably like 10 or so hours of me getting into Warhammer 3 when I buy it, go through some campaigns. Probably not gonna do like, because the game has insane amount of content, but I can't possibly stream too much of it, because it would be like streaming any other RTS game or Civilization. It probably wouldn't be that interesting after a while, but seeing like a person get into it might be interesting.